You look at when you're playing for Manchester United, you look at the great centre-backs over the years that have played for Manchester United. If I'd have done what Lindelof did playing for Stoke, I'd have been out the team the next week. It shouldn't be acceptable for a player of his quality playing for a team of Manchester United's magnitude. It's as simple as that.
Expand further on that for me then. Well, what exactly did Lindelof do wrong? What should he have done correctly?
Well, it's what he didn't do. You know, he's just gone out to Zaha, and it's a situation where Zaha mustn't have believed his luck. You know, he's rolled Lindelof without actually having to do anything. And I think the thing is,
if you look at it, Lindelof actually gets there first.
Yeah,
he gets there first with his left foot, and it's like it surprises him that he got there first. And instead of clearing his lines, he kind of let Wilfred just give him a little bump, and that was it. He turned him, like you said, so easily. That's the word. It was too easy, and for a Manchester United defender, it just can't happen.
No, it can't, and you can see there, you know, how he gets away from him. As a defender, you're like, right, okay, you want to be touch tight. And if you're touch tight, that means, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be physically stronger than the centre forward. And quite rightly, like Dan just said, Lindelof gets the first touch, but it's as though he's surprised. And Zaha, there's hardly a touch from Zaha and Lindelof, and he just gets away from him. That cannot happen as a centre half. As a centre half, the first thing you're looking at when you're playing against a centre forward is to bully them in the nicest possible way. You can't have the centre forward doing that to you. And don't get me wrong, it's wonderful play afterwards from Zaha, but he shouldn't have been allowed to get in that position as easy as he did. And it looked to me like there was a real fear factor when every time Zaha got the ball, nobody wanted to go to him, nobody wanted to go and approach him, and you can't have that.
Well, he's been at the club a while, Danny. He's played quite a few times for Manchester United. You could say it's early season jitters. It's the first competitive game since they were obviously in the Europa League. But do you see this as a long-term problem for Manchester United? Have you seen this issue crop up time and time again with Lindelof? Can they move forward by keeping him in the team? Or should they let him go?
I think it's a centre-back issue. It's simple as that, and it doesn't matter. I think when you look at the players that United have, so you've got Maguire, you've obviously got Jones, you've got Smalling, you've got Bailly, you've got Lindelof. The problem is, and you know, I make no excuses for saying it again, the centre-backs are all very similar. They all want to go and win the ball. So if you want to go and win the ball, you need then someone that's going to be covering behind you. And United don't have that player at the moment. They don't have that player that's happy to say, right, okay, you go and try and win everything. And I'll hold back a little bit because I've got the pace. So they miss the pace. They miss a different centre-back. And if I'm looking at United centre-backs at the moment, the one that I would have in alongside Maguire would be Bailly if he could remain fit, because he has the pace to cover. He's got the ability to be able to do that. But at the moment, it's such a square centre-back partnership as in terms of them both being on the line. And Darren was a midfielder, but I'm sure he would say the same thing. You can't have two central midfielders on the same line. One has to be going and one has to be staying. It's as simple as that. And that's where United get caught out time and time again.
Isn't that down to the coaching staff, Darren? I mean, when you're in the midfield, we can apply this to how defensive partnerships work as well. You do that on the training ground. You decide there and then, and you work on drills about who does go for the ball, who sweeps at the back, whatever the scenario might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it didn't look like they've worked on it at all on the training pitch. And it has been a problem last season, and it will continue to be a problem. So I agree with Danny. I think Bailly is the one that should be playing alongside Maguire. But other than that, I think they need to dip into the transfer market. Who's available? I think if I can pronounce it, Upamecano.
Upamecano over at Leipzig, yeah.
Yeah, he would do well. Koulibaly, you know, there's always talk about him. I think they need to dip into the transfer market. You talk about Jadon Sancho going to Man United. They need to sort the defensive side out of it first.
What about, and I'm going to throw this out there, Chris Smalling? Because if you looked at his performances last year, I know it's a different country, different league, different team, but he was one of Serie A's best defenders last year. And it looked like Roma were really trying to bring him back, but there must obviously be some issues concerning the transfer fee or other things which we're not aware of. But if you have someone that was able to perform at that level last year, surely he can offer something to Manchester United as well, Danny.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at the centre-backs of United, he's the one that can give a little bit of something different as well, as in terms of being the one that does the sweeping up and does that side of things. But I think, you know, when you look at Serie A, the one thing I would say is that, don't get me wrong, you've got some outstanding players in that league. But what I would say is that it's not as quick as the Premier League. And I think Chris Smalling got caught out a couple of times at United. But, you know, it's something that Solskjaer's looked at partnerships and he's gone with Maguire and Lindelof. I do honestly believe, though, that if Bailly had remained fit, because I saw him a couple of times last season, there was one game, I think away at Chelsea. It was a game I think that we covered together with Astro, and he was nothing short of phenomenal. And he hadn't played for ages, but he was absolutely magnificent. And I think if you can keep Bailly fit and you can keep him, you know, make sure that he's training week in, week out and get a consistent run of games for him, then, you know, he I think would add to the strength of the centre-back department. And I think he would really complement Maguire as well. But it's making sure that he's fit enough to be able to be on the pitch every week.